Whether your yarn looks like this or this, I'm going to show you how to make it into this.
Today I'm going to teach you how to finger weave.
Or some people call it
finger knitting.
Back in the day, way back when, before iPads or TVs in cars, we used to sit in the back of our car and finger knit. We'd do it for hours. On a jog, checking out the neighborhood, getting my exercise in. It's certainly something that I like. Gets me started in the morning so I can create some wonderful art. So get some fitness in before you create your artwork next time and see if you notice any difference. Here we go.
Weaving's not just for your grandma anymore.
3 keywords we're working on this week are loom, weft, and warp. And it's important to know the difference between these 3 words to help us know more about weaving. It's easier to explain it to somebody if you know these 3 words. So, a loom is something that you weave on. Everybody say, loom.
Loom.
So if I'm finger weaving, my hand is my
Loom.
Good, loom. Let's try that again. If I'm weaving on cardboard, then my piece of cardboard is my
Loom.
Good. Better. And if I'm weaving on straws, then my straws are my
Loom.
Great. Your loom. Loom's what you weave on. Weft is what you weave with, that's a string.
I weave with my weft.
And warp? Warp's what you're taking your weft and going over the warp and under the warp, over the warp, under the warp.
Over and under and over and under and over and under.
That's what warp is. Now we know. Right? Right?
Now that we know our basic weaving vocabulary, vocabulary, get it? Now we can actually start weaving. So let's get to the good stuff. Yes. It's time to create some art with yarn. The coolest part about this project is that all you need is yarn and your hands. One of the first things to consider is which hand are you going to weave on and which hand are you going to use to weave. Now, I'm right-handed, which means that when I finger weave on, or finger knit on my left hand. So if you're left-handed, you're going to finger knit on your right hand. My fingers are going to be my warp. This is my weft. It's sometimes helpful to have your yarn rolled into a little ball so that it doesn't get tangled. But really, you can start with one of these and do the same thing. Remember to get your yarn from the center and not the outside. It keeps it from getting tangled as well.
I write with my right, so my left hand is the hand that I'm going to weave on. I begin with the end of my string. I lay it over my palm. I clamp with my thumb. I spread my fingers so they're strong and straight. Then I wrap my string under my pointer, over my middle finger, under my ring finger, and over my pinky. I then bring the string back the opposite direction, under my pinky, over my ring finger, under my middle finger, and over my pointer. I bring that string back and do the same thing once again. Our weft moves in a repeating pattern. And then from the pinky, bring it under the pinky, over the ring finger, under the middle finger, and over the pointer. This should leave 2 strings on each finger. I then take the bottom string, flip it up over the top string and up over the top of my finger. And I do that with each finger. Bottom string over the top string over the top of my finger. Then I use my opposite fingers to comb down those strings so they don't fall off my hand. And I start the process over again. Over, under, over, under, over, under, until I have 2 strings on each finger, bottom string over the top string over the top of my finger. Comb it down, over, under, over, under, over, under. 2 strings on my fingers, bottom string over the top string over the top of my finger. Comb them down. You will repeat this pattern over and over and over again. Don't worry so much about what the back of your hand looks like. Just keep the pattern going. Once you've done this about 8 times, you're ready to let go with your thumb and pull back on your finger weaving or your finger knitting. It should make a woven chain behind your hand. And you can keep this pattern going over and over again, and you can do the rest of the ball of yarn you have. Or you can call it quits and make this into a necklace. I'm ready to make mine into a necklace. I'm ready to take it off my hand. I'm finished weaving. So, what I'm going to do is take this loop off of my pointer finger and slide it onto my middle finger. That will make 2 loops on my middle finger. Then, I take the bottom loop, I flip it over the top loop and over the top of my finger. I take the loop off of my middle finger and slide it onto my ring finger. I pull the ring finger loop, the bottom loop, over the top of the finger, and I do the same with my ring finger loop, taking the bottom loop, flipping it over the top loop and over the top of the finger until you're left with one last loop. Then cut your line and slide your line through the last remaining hole. One of the strongest ways to tie your finger weaving together at the top is to make a loop with both lines, kind of pretending they're one string, and then take the end string under and through the loop and pull both strings through. This will keep your string strong and you can trim off the extra. And you're left with a necklace. Cool. Everybody say, upgrade! For students who have the hang of working with one string, you can try 2 different colors side by side. Same process, just treat the 2 strings as one. I really like the way this one turns out. It makes a full woven rope that looks pretty interesting. It's also fun to experiment combining different colors. Color, baby, color. Hope you enjoyed weaving today. So long. Bye.
Now it's time for a nap.
You're just so nice and warm, aren't you?